Hey y'all, this is Alexis Moore with Moore's Masterminds, and I wanted to provide you guys with a quick video of how you can support your students with subtraction with regrouping using the vertical way or the borrowing the one way. I usually do not say borrowing of the one because there's a misconception with students and they think that when they are borrowing a one that they're actually borrowing a one. So I'm going to show you how you can help your students with subtraction with regrouping the vertical way without saying borrowing of the one. And I want to make sure that you guys are supported and a quick, easy strategy that you guys can use to help your students. All right, so let's get started. So here's my problem. We have 742 subtracted by 365. So we always start in our ones place. Our ones place is right here. It's always going to be on the end, the far right end. So starting with the top number, 2 cannot go into 5. So I know I'm going to go over to my neighbor and see if I can borrow some ones from them because I don't have enough to subtract. And I see that 4 cannot subtract into 6. So I know that I'm going to have to go over to the hundreds place to borrow some from the 7 to be able to subtract or regroup. However, this is what I wanted to show you guys. Now, instead of saying borrow a 1, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and write these numbers out. We know that this 7 is in the hundreds place, so I want you guys to go ahead and write this out in expanded form. Go ahead and write this out. So we have 700 and we have 300. So now, in order for me to be able to subtract these other numbers, I'm going to take 100 away from the 700. So I'm going to take 100 away. I'm going to subtract 100 away. And you can still cross out. I took 100 away. So now I took 100 away. So that now takes this and changes it to 600. So guess what? I'm going to take this 100 over here and I'm going to move it over to the tens place because the tens need enough to be able to subtract. So I'm going to add this 100 to, this is not a 4, but since it's in the tens place, it's 40. So I have 100 plus 40. And now I have 140. I have 140, which is now enough to subtract from 60. But I cannot do that yet because the ones still need enough to be able to subtract from the 5. So I'm not going to take 100 away because that's not in the hundreds place. We're going to now take 10 away from 140. So I'm going to take this, and you can still cross out. You can still cross out. And this is no longer 140. This is now 130 because I just took away 10. I just took away 10, and I'm going to take this 10, and I'm going to add it on to my 2. So I'm going to add 2. I'm going to add 2 plus 10, which is now going to give me 12. Now that's going to give me 12. So now I have enough to subtract. So 12 subtract 5 equals 7. 130 subtract 6. And if you want to, if your student is not comfortable, you can cancel out the zeros. So you can take, and I'll do it with a blue marker because I like colors. I'll take away these zeros. So you can do 13 subtracted by 6 equals 7. But remember, it's not 13, it's really 130 subtracted by 60, but since it's in the because it's in the tens place, but just so you won't have so many numbers, you can do 13 subtracted by 6 equals 7. And if you want to cancel out your zeros in the hundreds place, you can do, remember this is 600 subtracted by 300, or 6 subtracted by 3 equals 3. So what is 742 subtracted by 365? Your answer, I don't like that. I'm going to put a 7. I'm going to put Y'all know I like colors. The answer is 377. So this is a quick, simple way that you can teach your children how to subtract with regrouping using the borrowing way. Remember, don't say borrowing one, because you're not necessarily borrowing one, you're just borrowing from the next place value. Feel free to email me or send me a message on Facebook or Instagram if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to assist you. And happy studying, happy spring break, and let's illuminate.